Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Are you able to see me properly and hear me properly? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna. Okay, so let's begin. Today we are going to start the chapter 15, which is considered as the spontaneous devotional service or Raganuga Bhakti. So let me share the screen. So meantime, you can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Cheva
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devi Saraswati Vyasam
Vyasam
Tado Jayamudiraye
Tado
Mudire
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Ashtapraye
Praeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavada Sevaya
Nityam
Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavadi Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati
Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavadi Naishtigim
Bhakti Bhavati
Naishtikim
Om Nagyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadadi Sapadandigam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yudapadagamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunada Nidam Dam Sajivam Sadhvidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Sri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Govesha Gopiga Kanda Radha Kanda Namostade Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhudale Srimade Lokanath Swami Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswada Deve Guruvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Harihi Om Tatsat Om Namo Aniruddhaya Rishikeshendriyatmane Namaha Paramahamsaya Purnaya Navurtatmane Harihi Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We were going through this nectar of devotion, which reveals Srila Rupa Goswami tells us, and Srila Prabhupada has a wonderful translation of exact what Sri Rupa Goswami compiled. A devotee who is aspiring for the Supreme Lord, how to execute and perform the devotional services. So the last few classes, we were going through the qualities of devotional services or the qualification of the devotional services. Then we saw that yesterday that the 5 potent forms of devotional services. Anybody remembers what are the 5 potent forms of the devotional services? Anybody? Can you repeat? Yesterday we all, pretty much all you were there. Can you say what are the 5 prominent forms of devotional services?
Yes, I can say, Prabhuji.
Yes, please, one by one. Yeah. Go ahead.
Living in Mathura Dham.
Okay. Living in Mathura Dham. Okay. Anybody else? That's the one of it, of course.
Reading Bhagavatam.
Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, second one. And the third one?
Serving the devotees.
Serving the devotees. Wonderful. Thank you, Motherji. Fourth one? Worshipping
Chanting.
the devotees. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay. Then fifth one. Fifth one.
Deity worship.
Worshipping the deities. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's wonderful that you all remember that. These are the 5 out of 64 devotional services or 64 limbs of devotional services. It's mentioned that angas of devotional services. So we saw that in the previous chapters that there are 64 limbs of devotional services. Like honoring prasadam is one of the limb or anga of devotional service. Following the procession of the deity is one of the limbs of devotional service. Worshipping the tulasi, circumambulating the temples. These are all the different limbs of devotional services. Hearing, service, and cleaning and cooking. So many wonderful, like a 64. Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned that. And out of 64, Srila Rupa Goswami further mentioned that there are 9 prominent devotional services. That is same as what Prahlad Maharaj was mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. That is Ravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. I think we went through that very big, details of what are the 9 processes of devotional service. Then again, Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned that these are the 5 potent forms of, very potent, And out of these 9 or 64, these are the 5 potent form. What does that mean? Potent form. That means if one execute this, these are thousands of greater benefit than doing other services. That means every service to the Lord is very potent. But these are the very great potency has in it, especially in this age of Kali. That the prominent, the first is the hearing or reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So of course, hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, as Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself, no difference from Krishna, then one can eternally associate with Krishna. It's very potent, very powerful. And there are so many examples out there, right? Just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one can attain liberation. Like that, chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is very potent, very powerful. It's mentioned that one can enter into the spiritual abode, Goloka Vrindavan, just by chanting the holy name. One can attain liberation. The bhukti and the mukti, the liberation and the bhukti, all the desires can be fulfilled. And these are the doorsteps of or maid servants of the devotee, those who are chanting the holy name. So those who are chanting the holy name can attain the Supreme Lord, no doubt. Then staying in Dham. What is that staying in Dham means? Like Madhura, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, Mayapur. These are the Lord's own abode. It is an expansion of the Lord's abode, especially Vrindavan, Mayapur. These are all the Lord's expansions of the Lord in the Bhauma, in this material plane. So like that in material plane, there are Lord's abode. Just for an example, even there is a plane called Swedadip in this universe. This is the topmost of all this universe called Swedadip, or generally known as Dhruvalok. It is originally Swedadip. The Lord is very much pleased with the Dhruva Maharaj. Then Dhruva Maharaj had this desires that I should have a kingdom which is greater than my great-great-grandfather, which is Brahma. So Brahma's abode means this entire Brahmand is actually the Brahma Lord or the entire Brahman. This is all that's for the Brahma. That is a greater kingdom than the Brahma. So Lord understood that the desire of Dhruva Maharaj, and then Lord sanctioned this. Lord Dhruva Maharaj didn't even ask for the Lord, but Lord understood that desire. The Lord promised, Lord mentioned to Dhruva Maharaj that I would give you my abode to you. So that is generally known as then Lord Dhruva. So then Dhruva Maharaj then ascended to that point, that abode of the Lord. That's called Shirodakshaya Vishnu, where resides. That is called Swadadeep. This is the topmost. Even in the material plane, there is an abode that's called the Swadadeep. So, like that, the Lord's, wherever Lord resides, that's an abode or dham. That is called. So, one who are aspiring for this devotional services should stay away from all these material contaminations and stay in a dham. And that's another purpose of it. And if we say that, okay, I should go to Vrindavan and stay there, that means we are completely free from our material entanglement and conditioning. Then there we get more opportunities and we'll be so fortunate that we will have an opportunity to serve and enter into the Dham of the Lord. And then when we leave the body, we will eternally enter into our spiritual eternal abode. So this is another great benefit of staying in a Dham. So then sometimes we ask this question that, okay, Prabhuji, I am here in the US, so I cannot go to Dham, then how would I, this Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned that I should stay in Dham. That's why the Lord is so merciful. So we know that when Jagannath, the Yatra, originally was only in Jagannath Puri, nowhere else. But especially in age of Kali, Lord is so merciful, and Lord is then came out to the old world. Even into the remote places of Africa, there is Jagannath Rathayatra. Remote places of Africa, there is Jagannath Rathayatra. So Lord is so merciful. So it is mentioned that even one who sees the Lord Jagannath is seated on the chariot, he would attain Vishnu Lokam Sagachadi. He says that Vishnu Lokam Sagachadi, one who sees the Lord Jagannath seated on the chariot. Lord Jagannath is Lord Jagannath. There is no difference between Lord Jagannath in a Daru Brahman or that wood or the Lord, eternal Lord. There is no difference. One who sees the Lord in such form, Jagannath form, one can attain the Vishnu Lokam Sagachadi. So similarly, Lord expanded himself in all over the world in such a way that to give the mercy to the Lord. And this is also devotees' mercy. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested 500 years ago and mentioned and proclaimed that my name will be chanted every town and village, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why known as Mahavadanyaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayine Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurdrishe Nama Krishna Prema Pradayine Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give this Krishna Prema to everybody, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showing this mercy to everyone. Jare Deko Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. So dear devotees, this is our greatest of fortune, that just because of mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Radha and Krishna himself, wanted to give this mercy to everybody. So Lord expanded, see that 500 years after, everywhere there is beautiful Radha Krishna temple, beautiful Jagannath temple, beautiful Jagannath deities, beautiful Dham. If you go to the the UK or France, New Londoneshwara, there is New Vrindavan in the US, New Gologa Dham in the UK. There is New Mayapur Dham. So everywhere it is a new Mayapur Dham, New Vrindavan here in West Virginia. It's again no difference between Vrindavan Dham or New. This Lord is there. So Vrindavan Dham expansion. So that this is the potency of the spiritual. This is the aspect of the spiritual. It's very potent. So everywhere, New Vrindavan Dham in all the Western countries, even Russia, there is new Mayapur Dham.
Wow.
So like that, there are so many dhams, places all over the world. And we have beautiful Dham, we have Radha Shyamsundar, that's also New Goloka Dham. Our abode is known as New Goloka Dham. How many of you know that our temple is considered as, and our name, our abode is named as New Goloka Dham? Right? Our Dham is termed as, named as New Goloka Dham. The devotees, these are greatest our fortune that we are all staying in Dham and worshipping the Lord Sri Sri Radha Shyamasundarji in such a magnitude. So everybody can associate and come to temple and perform services. That is considered as staying in Dham. Even though we stay in our home, but our heart, our mind, our services, body, everything for the service of the Lord, Supreme Lord Sri Sri Radha Shyamasundarji. Then serving devotees, another aspect of the devotion, serving devotees. Never forget that, never ever deny an opportunity to serve the devotees. So this is by the Lord's mercy that we get that opportunity to serve a devotee, serve a Vaishnava. Never ever deny or never ever neglect or never ever have hesitation to serve a Vaishnava, a devotee. By serving a Vaishnava, a devotees, all our anarthas will be removed. Always remember this. All our anarthas will be removed by just by serving a Vaishnava, a devotee. Then worshipping the deities. So as mentioned that Lord is so merciful. It's not that we think that, okay, because of me, because of my capabilities, that I am installing a deity. Oh, I am so and so. That's why I'm installing a deity. And so we invite so many people, and that, okay, I'm inviting a deity. The devotees, unless and until Lord is merciful to that devotee will not have an opportunity to serve a deity. Because of thousands of lifetimes of our pious credit, pious activities, our devotion, the Lord is coming to us and manifesting to us to serve the Lord daily and eternally. So Lord is so merciful. And it is mentioned that in the scripture, just to receive service from that devotee, Lord is manifesting in devotee's house, just to receive the service from the Lord, the devotees. So Lord is manifesting to that devotee so that devotee will always serve the Supreme Lord. So Lord is ready to receive service from such devotees. And Lord is manifesting to such devotees' house. And this is called deity worship. So these are very, very powerful and potent forms of devotional service. These are the 5 potent forms of the devotional services. And always remember this. And one who is claimed to be a Vaishnava, devotee, or aspiring to become a devotee or Vaishnava should eager for this and pray for the Lordships. Please give this opportunity to me. Every day, hearing, as is mentioned that in the Bhagavatam itself, Srila Vyasadeva is compiling, Nashta Brayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. If we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam daily, it can eradicate all the Nashta Prayeshu Abhadra, all the impurities of the heart, can eradicate all the impurities of the heart. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. So dear devotees, very, very potent and very powerful. And always remember that if you have an opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and many of you have Srimad Bhagavatam at home, we have at the temple. If you don't have, please collect it from us. And please read Srimad Bhagavatam in such a way that we every day without any fail, and we have Bhagavatam class in the morning. So you all can join and hear Srimad Bhagavatam at Tivili. It has great, great benefit. So this was Srila Rupa Goswami was mentioning in the previous chapter. Today, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada was translated that to the importance of the spontaneous love, spontaneous devotional service. Okay, so let's get into that. So please go ahead and read devotees the first paragraph. If anybody would like to read the first paragraph of the this chapter
I'm
50,
very happy to read Simheshwar Prabhu.
please go ahead.
Spontaneous devotional service. Example of spontaneous devotional service can easily be seen in Krishna's direct associates in Vrindavana. The spontaneous dealing of the resident of Vrindavana in relationship with the Krishna are called Raganuga. These brings don't have to learn anything about devotional service. They are already perfect in all regulative principles and have achieved the spontaneous loving service of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. For example, the cowherd boys who are playing with the Krishna do not have to learn by austerities or penances or yogic practice how to play with him. They have passed all the tests of regulative principles in their previous lives, and as a result, they are now elevated to the position of direct association with the Krishna as his dear friends. Their spontaneous attitude is called Raganu Bhakti.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. This is a great topic, dear devotees. And Srila Prabhupada was very nicely describing what is this Raganuga Bhakti. So we all can very much attentively hear this. We can also come to that stage of Raganuga Bhakti. It's not that, we just hear it and go away. We don't do anything. That's not the purpose of it. So we are very serious students of Bhakti. We are very serious students. So here, Sri Rupa Goswami is describing about the Raganuga Bhakti. So we know that there are three stages of Bhakti. Generally, it is known as Sadhana Bhakti. Then next stage is called as Bhava Bhakti. And then the last stage or the final perfectional stage is known as Prema Bhakti. So then we can understand also Sri Rupa Goswami in the previous chapters described about it, that when you come to sadhana bhakti, or it's called rules and regulations, rules and regulations, sadhana or practices. So that means employing our all senses and the body in the practice of devotional service called sadhana bhakti. So we engage ourselves in the service of the Lord with the rules and regulations. So just for an example, that a devotee, now Gaura Purnima is coming, devotees takes vows to chant this many rounds. So when they take this vow that I am going to chant this many rounds, this comes under the rules and regulation, or called sadhana bhakti, that I take this vow that I would chant this many rounds. So because of that, I took that vow in front of the Lord, in front of the devotee, that it itself transfer the potency to that devotee who is taking the vow. So then naturally this devotee will have inclination to chant the holy name in such a way that, okay, I should get up in the morning, I should chant. Because of I took some vow, because of I promised to this devotee, because of this, because of that. So because of some rules, I should chant. So these are the rules that if those who take initiation, they took a vow that I would chant 16 rounds and took a vow that I would serve the deities. I would engage in the loving devotional service into the temple. I would distribute books. So how many, this many hours in a week or a month. I would, engage in the association of the devotees. Once I get the initiation, I will sit at home. Nothing will, I won't do anything else. No, we take a vow that all these, when you take the initiation, this is called rules, and then regulations that we regulate. There is, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. These are the regulative principles that we follow. So these are called sadhana bhakti. So that's why the one when a devotee take initiation, that's called the beginning of it, or we come to that devotional practices. So that's just the beginning, the devotional practices. That's called sadhana bhakti. So then again, that there is two category or divisions of the sadhana bhakti. One is called as Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, and the next one is come to that stage called Raganuga bhakti. The Vaidhi sadhana bhakti or Vidhi, that means that's as mentioned that the rules and regulations, right? So then there is a stage called when we follow strictly this Vaidhi sadhana bhakti or rules and regulations, then we mature it. That means one point of time, as per that, we started with rules and regulation. Okay, that devotee said to me, then what happens? We develop that taste for chanting of the holy name. We develop attachment That's why Sri Rupa Goswami also mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion that Adho Shraddha, when we have this Shraddha, this faith, then Sadhu Sangha, by the association of devotees, when we come to the stage of this Bhajana Kriya, or we start to chant the holy name, then we come to that stage of Anartha Nivritti. That means slowly we get purified. That's what it is. When we Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, when we strictly follow, we come to that stage of purification. When our heart gets clean, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, Param Vijayade Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, that if we chant the holy name properly and sincerely, our heart gets clean. So Anartha Nivrittis happen when we chant the holy name. That means Bhajana Kriya. When we have this Bhajana Kriya or chant the holy name or Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we strictly follow, then what happens when our hearts get cleaned and purified, then we come to the stage of Raganuga, that means spontaneous love. Now we develop the Nishta, Anartha Nivritti, then we develop a stage called Nishta, steadiness. We come to that stage of steadiness, and then that's called Nishta. Then we develop a taste for all this. Now, at this stage of taste, like just for an example, we like to eat rasagula or we like to eat gulab jamun. As soon as we see it, we jump on it. We get it somehow or other, we get it. Our body, our mind, our tongue, our words, everything works to get that, very delicious rasagula or kheer or halwa or whatever it is. So that moment we don't think anything else. That moment we think that somehow, or I would say nice words to the those who are serving, that's why I get more rasagula or gulab jamun. I would be so nice. I would be jump myself in upfront that okay, without running out, I would get this. This is the nature of that. So body, mind, our senses all works towards that one direction when we develop that taste for it. When we develop that side means we would love to get more and more and more, right? That's the nature of it. That's called taste. So at this point of time, when we have that, the sadhana bhakti, when get matured, we come to that stage of attachment, or we come to that stage of taste, attachment. So this is called raga. So that sadhana bhakti get matures and will come to the stage is known as raga or called attachment, anuga. That means then follows. That's called spontaneous. Follow means following. That means spontaneous. Then we will have very spontaneous love for it. So when we start to worship the Lord, so when we started to chant the holy name, when we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, when we worship the deities, when we serve the devotees, then what happened? We are developing that love and attachment for the Lord. So there is a one common thing in the here. When we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the main common goal? To hear about the Supreme Lord. So that means we develop the love for the Supreme Lord. In the beginning itself of Srimad Bhagavatam, the objective of Srimad Bhagavatam is revealed. The objective of the Srimad Bhagavatam is to develop the love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the objective, the goal of the Srimad Bhagavatam is mentioned in the beginning itself that nothing but to develop love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as we go through this, when we worship the deity, so what happens eventually that initially we may have that some attachment. But when we worship the deity every day without any fail, then we develop so much love for the Lord. So we know that when we come to our temple, most of you have such a love for the Lord Sri Sri Radha Shyama Sundarji. When Ramada Shyama Sundarji has beautiful dress, beautiful shringar, beautiful flute, and then we can see that Lord is so beautiful, then naturally that love develops. That's why it is mentioned that when we serve the deities, we should serve deities the best of it. And it's not that Lord will be so beautiful, that's sure, but at the same time, we will also develop that love for the Lord. So this is the purpose, and this is the reason that Srila Prabhupada also established, and Srila Bhagavatam mentioned that one should worship the deity because of we will develop such a love for the lordships. So similarly, that when we worship the deities, When we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, chant the holy name, right? Chant the holy name. We are keep hearing, keep associating with the Lord. The common goal is actually to develop love for the Lord. So, like that, associate with the devotees. What happens when associate with the devotees? Bodhi and the parasparam, the Tushyandi Jaramandja, they develop great pleasure. Why the great pleasure? Because of they love the lordships. When we love someone, when we hear about that person, we get the bliss and we get happy. Otherwise, we don't care much. But when we love someone, that we hear about that person, we develop the love, we get pleasure, we get happiness and all. So this is a symptom. So the common goal of all this is actually nothing but this Krishna is in the center of our life. So when Krishna is the center of our life, then we started to develop this attachment for him. That's why when we bring the deities at the home, then Krishna, Radha Krishna is the center of our house. Radha Krishna is the center of our life. Anything that we get, we offer to Krishna that first. If you buy a bag, if you buy even something, if you buy a cloth, we offer to Krishna first. Whatever we see that, okay, nice flowers on our garden, we see that, oh, this is good for Krishna. Something that nice fruits we bring to the home, yeah, this is very good and this is good for Krishna. And if we cook something, okay, first thing comes to the mind that, okay, how Krishna would like this if I make some bhoga. Oh, this kheer, okay, I should make very good and Krishna would love it, Krishna would like it. If I offer this beautiful, I clean the temple, and this is my Lord's abode, and everything should be so nice and clean. The altar should be nice and clean because of my Lord is there. So this is called, dear devotees, we develop attachment for Krishna. So then everything is actually dovetailed towards the service of that attachment. That means it's called spontaneous. It means at every moment we think about that, the Supreme Lord, every moment that we think about the Supreme Lord. So this is what is exactly Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here, that see, the example of spontaneous devotional service can easily be seen in Krishna's direct associate in Vrindavana. So we know that when Krishna goes in the forest in the morning, you know what happens? All the Brajavasis, including Mother Yashoda, including Nanda Baba, they will all follow Krishna to some extent every day. That means they cannot feel that separation from Krishna. They are so attached to Krishna because of their life, and their life is centered around Krishna. Nanda Baba's, Yashoda Maya's life is centered on all the Gopis, Brajavasis' life is centered around Krishna. All the friends of Vrindavan is centered around Krishna. Krishna is getting up little late, and all the friends comes in front of Krishna and start to call out Krishna, 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 you didn't come. Krishna, it is time. And they won't go even without Krishna. They won't go anywhere without Krishna. If they wanted to go to a forest, specific forest, they will first tell it to Krishna, Krishna, let's go there. There's a beautiful, the berries are there, let's go there. Let's go there, there's a beautiful garden is there. Let's go there because of there is so much of nice places are out there we can play around. So this is what is the friends who are talking to Krishna. The gopis over there, they would actually, it is mentioned that they Krishna would go and steal butter and milk and the yogurt every day into the gopis' house. So even though they pretend that they were hiding this butter yogurt from Krishna, to hide that, in order to just to say to their householders or head of the houses that, yeah, I am taking care of this very nicely. But the gopis mind is full of Krishna. So they think that, okay, when Krishna is going to come and eat my butter, so that is their thoughts every day when they churn this butter. And their thinking is that when Krishna would come and eat, and it is mentioned that I was hearing this from my Guru Maharaj, when the Krishna doesn't come to their home, they will be so disappointed. They will be so disappointed and they will think that why didn't Krishna come today? So this is the way that they were thinking about Krishna because of their life is completely centered around Krishna. So when Krishna leaves to the forest with the cows and the calf, they would follow some extent. Krishna would then turn back and tell them, fine, it is nine enough, you all have to go back. Then they would stand there still. And then Krishna and friends will go to the forest and they would go and see and pay the obeisance to the footprints of Krishna on that, the dust on the Vrindavan. This was the attachment they all have for Krishna. So we know that the Brajavasis and the Gopis, how they pull their day-to-day life, they think about that and they go back and they would do their chores, daily chores, that thinking only about Krishna. Now, where is my Khanna? Where is my Khana is going to be now? What he is doing? So he didn't wear the shoes. He didn't wear anything. Scorching heat. How Krishna would be that? They were always in absorption of Krishna. Always in the absorption of Krishna. So this is the great example. Srila Prabhupada gives this great example in this first paragraph itself, that the examples that the Vrajavasi, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, is the best example for this spontaneous love. So why it is Lila Goswami saying this to us? We should develop such a love for Krishna. That's why that we have to bring deities at the home. Then we start to serve deities, and everything will be centered around Krishna. Our home will become more clean because of Krishna is resides there. It is not an ordinary house anymore. It is the abode of Krishna. So it should be clean and nice. Everything should be nice, and people around of these deities, Radha and Krishna, should be. They would talk nicely. They would behave nicely. There is no quarrels in that homes. There is no fighting because of Krishna is right there. There is no kind of old feelings there when Krishna. So we can see that when somebody comes to such a home, we can feel that the presence of Krishna in such homes, because of Krishna resides right there. Krishna is right there. We can feel that. So because of their life is around, life is the Krishna centric. Why it is happening? Because of the devotee has such an attachment for Krishna. We should develop such attachment for Krishna, that is called spontaneous love. And where it's come from? That we follow the spiritual master, we follow the devotees, we follow the instructions of the senior devotees and the Vaishnavas, we follow the footsteps of. So where is that is called Ragatmika again. In order to come to that spontaneous love, and Sri Goswami also gives another example, is called Ragatmika. That means we can also follow the footsteps of the great Vaishnava. That means one has to follow in order to come to that stage of spontaneous love. So in order to come to that stage of spontaneous love, that's what is Sri Rupa Goswami says, serving Vaishnavas. When we serve Vaishnavas, associate with the devotees, following the footsteps of such great Vaishnavas and the senior devotees, then we can also come to that stage of spontaneous love, or the attachment for the constant attachment for, or our life centered around, or Krishna centric life is called spontaneous love, or spontaneous devotional service, or called Raganuga Bhakti. It's called Raganuga Bhakti. So there are so many wonderful examples we can give, but let's continue. And which devotee would like to read the next paragraph? Please go ahead. Today is Ekadashi is a great opportunity to absorb.
I will do.
Okay, please go ahead.
Sri Rupa Goswami has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in the thoughts of it. With an intense desire of love, devotional service exhibited with such a feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Raganuga can be further divided into two categories. One category is called sensual attraction and other is called relationship. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So it is again, Sri Rupa Goswami is defined as this spontaneous love called Raganuga Bhakti. So this Raganuga Bhakti is again, it is mentioned that for something while completely absorbed in the thoughts of it, completely absorbed. So that means, as I mentioned, that when we have deities at the home, and many devotees, we can see that, I mean, there would give an example of it. There was one devotee who happened to become unconscious because of some problems in the stomach or something like that. And then this devotee is admitted to the hospital. So then became in a unconscious state. But even in unconscious state, this devotee was uttering some words. The doctor was not able to grab or catch that what this person was saying, was unconscious. So this doctor called up her husband and brought to this devotee, and the doctor told to her husband that, okay, this person is saying something. I don't know what she's saying, but she is unconscious, but she is uttering something, and like that. So then husband heard this, what she was saying, and Husband told to the doctor that, oh, this is our deity's name. This is called Radha Madana Mohan. So this person, this Mataji, was mentioning about the deity name called Radha Madana. Even in unconscious state, this devotee was saying about the deity's name because of this Mataji was serving Radha Madan Mohan at their home. Every day, this Mataji was thinking about that, okay, in the morning, what should I serve? How do I serve? What should I offer? The noontime, how should I serve? How to change the dress? How to give the water to the Lord? How to give bhoga all the time? And the evening comes, how should I change the dress for the deity? How to offer bhoga? How to change the water? How to make put him in sleep? And how to make very nicely, and many various varieties of like various bhoga that which was offering. So every time thinking about this deity of Radha Madan Mohan, and even in the consciousness state, thinking about this is called dear devotees called spontaneous love or intense love for the Supreme Lord, intense thoughts of the Supreme Lord. So intense desires of love. So it's naturally it's developed when we have sincerity, when we have sincere devotion for the Lord. So yesterday's, the qualification of the devotional service, the first and the foremost, the qualification of the devotional service that our sincere desire to serve the Supreme Lord. Sincere desire. That's what is the main and the primary qualification for devotional service, our sincere desire to serve the Lordships. So when we have that sincere desire to serve the Lordships, then naturally all this sprouts. Like as we know that when we put a seed on the soil, when you put a seed, then what happens? Slowly it sprouts, and then it's create that little, creeper and little branch on it, and then it comes the twigs, and then comes the branches, comes the leaves, and then slowly grow. And when it's grow, that it's also absorb at the same time more quantities of the soil and fertilizer and water. Initially, when at the seed, it absorbs only little, right? When it gets the little water, little soil, little fertilizer, then it start to grow. But as long as it grows and proportionally, it also absorbs it. So exactly like that, dear devotees, our Bhakti Lada beach, our beach, the seed of bhakti sprouts like this. When it sprouts and become more and more, grow more, then it also absorbs into that in more and more. So this is the results of it. So when it grows, it also absorbs in such a way that in Krishna and thoughts of Krishna. So where it come from? Our sincere desire to serve, our strong faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then, again, this spontaneous love or raganuga bhakti is also divided into two categories called sensual attraction and other is called relationship. So then we will see that in the later that then it get matures. When it matures, that's where we develop the relationship with the Lord. So there is a five kinds of relationship we can develop. Sensual attraction means now we are attached to the anga of the Lord, the form of the Lord, the eyes of the Lord, the beauty of the Lord, the hair of the Lord, the lotus feet of the Lord, the dress of the Lord. This is sensual attraction. That means we are attached to Krishna, beauty, everything. So this is the beginning of it. And this is the way that we develop attachment and love for the Lord. And then we come to that spontaneous love, and then what happens? It again matures. That's where we come to that stage of further ecstatic love, and that's called the bhava stage, and the pure love that is called the prema, and then that pure relationship that's called madhurya bhav. That's called prema. That's all Srila Rupa Goswami explains in the later chapters of it. But the most important thing that we need to understand that we should be always that Krishna centric, not like self centric. We are completely now self centric, so we don't get to any of this attachment. We don't come to that spontaneous love for Krishna. Oh, okay, Krishna is today, I'm going for a vacation. Oh, Krishna is there, so I can just leave Krishna here. Even though Krishna is Paramatma, he is Andaryami, he is everywhere. Even though I don't give any food to Krishna, any bhoga to Krishna, Krishna will be happy. Krishna is okay. Or we put him into the sleep and okay, like fine, Krishna, you sleep for another 1 week, 2 week, I'll be back and I'll do so many things we do. But this is just it's not that real spontaneous love. So if spontaneous love, you should always think about Krishna like a child. I'll give you an example of in Madhura. there was one Mataji. This Mataji, when she got married, their parents gave a little from Gujarat. This Mataji is from Gujarat. So their parents actually gave a Laddu Gopal as a gift of, and that's a custom. I believe that I think it's not only Gujarat, some other parts of North, that when the girls get married, that then the girl's family give a little Gopal, that means little Gopal as a gift, so that wherever she goes, and she can start to worship this Gopalji, this little lordships. So this girl actually got this and brought this to her, in-laws house, and she started to worship since then. She started to worship since then. She was so very careful and so sincere, so much every day. She get up in the morning, she dress the deities, she gives the milk to the deities, feeds to the deities, and cook for the deities, and every time take care of the deities like this, and clean, and bathe the Lord in such a way that, and it was going for so many. And this Mataji then become old, and she had developed such an attachment for the Lord, such an loving relationship, even that rather loving relationship with the Lord. Now this Mataji then started to see this little Gopalji as her own son. That means called Lalla, 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 Lalla. Likes that. She was always calling this my Lalla, Mera Lalla, my Lalla, likes that. So then she became old, and now she was very old, and she was, very difficult to come and do this service. And she also then had her own children, and then her son got married, and then the daughter-in-law also came to the home. And then now, this day, when she becomes so old, and told to daughter-in-law that, okay, my, you know, daughter-in-law, then now can you take care of this? And I'm so weak today, and can you clean the DT, and can you go and, offer? So, this daughter-in-law also then came and started to clean the DT and change the dress. Then what happened? From her hand, the little Gopalji fall down, and this Mataji Shua, she was all her life was serving the deity, becomes so upset and so much of restless, so much of unhappy, and so much in distress and sorrow. And then this old Mataji was saying that my Lalla would have hurt now, my Lalla would have hurt now, and what to do? And he called up her son. You call doctor, you call doctor and check that my Lalla, that he would have heart now. And then then the son was saying that, Mama, this is just an idol, this is just a metal piece of it, and what are you talking about? Call a doctor and check this, this idol like this. This Mataji was very much insisting her son to call a doctor. And because of this, Mataji was restless and so much in distress that she was treating them like her own son, and thinking that something would have happened because of fall down from that higher table to the floor. And she was feeling that something would have happened to my Lalla, my the deity. So unhesitatingly, this her son had a friend, and there's a doctor, and he told to that friend doctor, and told that this is what has happened. My mother is so upset and restless. Can you come here, and just for the sake of to pacify my mother, you come and check and say that everything is all right. So the son's friend agreed, and he came. And then this old Madaji told that what happened. Can you check? Can you put that stethoscope on his heart and see that he is still alive? And then doctor was also looking at this Madaji, what this Madaji is saying, and hesitatingly, and okay, this is friend's request. So this doctor came and put the stethoscope in his ears, and then started to put that stethoscope on the body, on the chest of this little Gopalji. And this doctor became shocked, become astonished, and he couldn't believe that he was hearing the heartbeat from this deity, this little Gopalji, and he couldn't believe. And he put it again, and he was hearing this tuck 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 tuck, this heartbeats from the deity. And then he was again. the tuck, 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 tuck. And he couldn't believe. And he was, tears were came out from these eyes of the doctor. Tears came out, and then told to that and showed this again, put that stethoscope in the ears of this Madaji, old Madaji, and told that your Lalla is so fine, no issues. Lalla is still alive, and see, you can hear the heartbeats of it. And this son, this daughter-in-law, everybody becomes so astonished. The devotee, this is called that when we develop that relationship, Krishna is there to reciprocate such a relationship. Krishna will personally come to reciprocate such a relationship. When we develop that attachment, this is not just a mundane that, just for sake of, no, it is all happen like this. You know that in here in Rajasthan, Karoli, there is a deity that, that the Lord wears a watch. You know that Lord wears a watch, and that watch, actually, that's working. Actually, as per that, I forgot that the last viceroy or second last viceroy was the Man Singh. That he was the king of the, this Rajasthan, and he was friends with this Raja Man Singh, and it is still there. And the deity of, it's, I think, Radha Gopinath. It's Gopinath, the original deity of Gopinath. It was worshipping there is in Karoli, and then there the temple. This king Mans, this Raja Mansingh, go there and worship deity for long time and attach such a way of worship. The viceroy was a friend of this Raja Mansingh, and one day came over there, and then those days actually, only few people has this watch, and then British implemented this kinds of, the dialed watch on that time, right? So this viceroy was waiting for and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then this raja mentioned that, okay, and then waiting for it and waiting for it, and all on a sudden, what happened? Then this watch over this Rajaman's, this viceroy that's brought the watch over there, and it became started to stop on a certain point of time, and it was not moving. And then the Raja said that, Raja mentioned that, okay, this is the time I would come out. And even though it was working and that stopped for a particular moment, and then this is then offer this to Krishna, that's the time. Then what happened? It started to move, and this and exact time that Raja mentioned that, and that's what is the watch was showing that. Then what happened? This he was astonished, and then since then, this a deity was started to wear the watch, and it is there still. If you can see that, so there are so many examples out there that devotee has such an attachment for the lordship. So this is called spontaneous love. So we all can develop such a love for Krishna, and then this is the way that we always have then developed our relationship with Krishna. Dear devotees, this is the purpose of our devotion, to develop love for the Supreme. It's not that we should ask for so much of, I need car, I need this big bangla, I need to have, very, 6 figures of high amount of salary that I should get it. I should have beautiful family, or I should have beautiful children, or I should have name and fame. I should become the president of this US. I should get this one. I should get that one. My family should go like this. This is our desire for every day. This is called self-centric or not Krishna-centric. That means we are always put ourselves in the center. But on the other hand, when we put Krishna in our center of life, then everything has become so wonderful, so valuable, and so powerful. And similarly, like there is always gives an example, like otherwise the material realm or mundane that we completely put ourselves in the center. At the end of the day, like as we always say, that life is a preparation, death is an examination. We can become so attached to this material world, we can become like any lower species of animal. As we always, I give this example of it. One day, there was a big merchant. He was so much busy with his, his business, and every day he goes and so much in busy, so much in thoughts of this, his business. And he was seeing a sadhu, and sadhu was seeing him every day. And sadhu tell to him this person that, don't waste your life because of at least chant, at least remember, at least do something for the Lord. You chant this mantra every day. This takes only like few moments in your time, and you should do this. This merchant says that, businessman says that, no, 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 I don't have time now. I'll chant when I'm old. So this he was passing and seeing this sadhu every day, and sadhu was telling this to him every day. Then what happened? He passed away, and all on a sudden he passed away. And what happened? Because he was so much attached to his home and family and the children, his work and business, and so much of things. What happened? He became a snake in the same premise of this home because of his attachment for his family members, and he used to come to see his family members and his children. One day that they saw this, this there is a snake out there, and he was on the courtyard, and his family members, like children especially, they came and beat the snake and killed the snake. So, dear devotees, this is our condition. So much of that we think about that, we have that, we have this, we have so much of things, name and fame, but we don't know, we never know that we are going to scroll down or scrolling on the next lifetime on the ground, or become a pig, or become a rat, or a mouse, or a bird, or a fish. We don't know because of our attachment. We would like to become, because of that's the nature, that's the law of nature. Whatever that we are attached, yam yam vavi smaran bhavam tajyante kaleveram tam tam evadi kaundeya tada tadbhavamagadaga. Whatever the consciousness we have at the time of death, that's what is we are going to become. Yam yam vavi smaran bhavam tajyante kaleveram tam tam evadi kaundeya. That's what is we are going to become. Yadi natra samsheha. There is no doubt into that. That's what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. This Krishna's word, Lord's word. That's the law of nature. That's the science of this nature. Whatever the consciousness become, that we are become, that's what is we are going to become in our next lifetime. But rather than wasting our life, everything else is like a big zero. But when we put Krishna in the center of our life, then like that we put one in front of all these zeros, it become a huge value. But if that one is not there in front of these zeros, it will completely become zeros. There is no value, it's waste of our life. So, but we put one in front of that zero, it's become a huge value. Like that, if we put Krishna in center of our life and dovetail all our activities around Krishna, our speech, our memory, our thoughts, our activities, our offering, everything that Krishna centric, Krishna is in our center of life, dear devotees, that's the greatest perfection of life. That's where we attain Krishna. We attain the abode of Krishna. We enter into the abode of Krishna. We attain that eternity, that eternally we serve Krishna in full spiritual body, with our full spiritual body. Eternally, that eternal, there is no death or birth or samsara chakra. That is eternal. That is full of bliss and knowledge and full of potency, full of happiness and eternity, and all is the results of that when we put Krishna in our center of our life. So this spontaneous love, we have to develop this spontaneous love. And we just read only few paragraphs, and we will continue this in our next classes. And we should continue and understand this, the science of Krishna consciousness, this pure science of Krishna consciousness, how we can develop our consciousness and completely surrender, completely in attachment for Krishna, and develop that love for Krishna, or spontaneous love, always that loving nature towards Krishna, how we love our children, how we love our spouse, how we love our beloved, how we love our, as a friend. So this is the way that we develop the love for Krishna. So there are a lot to speak, and we just, I think, considering the time, I would stop here. And thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining this very auspicious day of Ekadashi. And Hare Krishna. Gandharaj, Sri Director of Ras Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki Jai. Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Are you all there? Did I lose?
Prabhuji, yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, we are here.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hope
Thank
that
you.
you all could hear something, or any reflection, any questions anybody has.
No, Prabhuji, very good Katha examples you gave during this lesson. And it's like like I truly believe in that, and that happens. But sometimes it's tough to mention that to others, because then we are scared what others may think about it if there are something like those experiences. But I know those are real.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about what others say about what is our devotion. This is our greatest fear of, when we are in society. Oh, if we bring our friends comes, what will happen? What they think. When we put a tilak, what they will think other people. No, that's not spontaneous love. That's conditioned. Spontaneous love, you always have that thoughts of Krishna. Okay, whether my Lalla likes or not, whether I cook, my Krishna likes or not. If I put tilak, yes, this is my Lord's lotus feet on my face. The Lord is with me. When I put Gandhimala, yes, this Tulasi, the dear devotee of Lord Sri Krishna, I should have it. I should have that association of that Tulasi Devi on my neck. And I should have devotee association, like Ambarish Maharaj does that. They use his lotus feet, his feet to go to temple. Here he uses the ear to hear the glories of the Supreme Lord, eyes to see the Supreme Lord, hands to clean the temple of the Supreme Lord, body to serve the Supreme Lord. This is the way that we should develop that love for Krishna. Yeah, we should not have this kinds of feeling of what others will think. No, this is our life, not nobody else's life. We should always think about, sometimes, we should also come to that point of, like in a story of a parrot. A lady brought a parrot and bought a parrot, and she also bought a golden cage for that parrot, golden nest. Every day this lady goes and clean this nest so that she thinks that, oh, everybody else will come and see that, oh, what a beautiful golden cage and parrot. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I get some pleasure out of it. So every day she was not taking care of this parrot. Rather, she was taking care of this nest, golden nest, go and polish every day, but never care about the parrot inside that cage, that nest. So eventually that parrot died. So now what is the use of that cage? The parrot is not there. This is a great example for all of us. We think so much about external. We never think about that our internal is called inner engineering. We have to come to our inner engineering, how to dovetail our see this in the further paragraphs. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that how to come out of our this inclination of this external, what is called this entanglement. That okay, what would that say? They say this will no. Is our life. How long? Who is going to be there with me at the end of our life? Only Krishna, nobody else. All even family members, they will come up to that graveyard. That's it. Then they also come back. We have to grow. We have to have this full. This we have to complete our journey, our own. Nobody else would be with you. This is our own journey. Always remember that. Nobody else with you. That in that your journey. That's the way. That's so we have to very clearly come to that stage of our loving devotional service to Krishna, then Krishna will be with us. That's what is we need. That's why we get this human form of life to realize that our Supreme Father, our Supreme Beloved, our Supreme Lord, that to be always with us. Okay?
Yes, this two story really makes us feel that Sambandha is so important with the Krishna.
Yeah.
Without Sambandha, you cannot progress.
Yes. Sambandha Gyan, that's why initially it's mentioned that we should worship the deity in the form of Radha Madan Mohan, is a Sambandha, deity of Sambandha, that is gives blessings and showers the mercy to that such devotees of worship, that we can easily develop the relationship with the Lord. Yes, again, everything that Krishna has to sanction, everything Lord has to shower the mercy upon us, then only everything will come to that we can develop love for Krishna.
And what is the importance of til in this Ekadasi?
Sattila Ekadasi. Every Ekadasi is very important. It's a Vaishnava Tidhi. So there is a beautiful, it's Lord mentioned, Supreme Lord Yudhishthira Maharaj was asking that each importance of each Ekadashi, and it's mentioned that one of this comes to this month of Pausha and Krishna Paksha, and This Ekadashi is called Satsila Ekadashi, and one who offer till or the sesame and to the Lord, then they can liberate, they can eradicate their sinful reactions, and they can attain, whatever their desires will be fulfilled. So that Lord was mentioning, and this is a very specific Vaishnava like that 24 Ekadashi or Vaishnava Tithi, no, Ekadashi Tithis like that. Every Ekadashi has a very significance, and also the results of one who observes this will be varies. Some is actually Putra Ekadashi. It's known as one can attain Putra, and then one can eradicate their sinful reactions. Moksha Ekadashi, that means all our forefathers and they all can liberate. So, like that, Satyala Ekadashi, one can also eradicate their sinful reactions and attain the Supreme Lord. And all the doshas can be eradicated.
We were supposed to offer the til today to the.
Not necessary. This is for karmis or karmis, those who are karma kand follows. They all can do that. But one who hears and chant the holy name, all this, nothing to worry. You don't need to offer or any of these things. When you chant the holy name, hear Srimad Bhagavata, association with the devotees, and worship the deities and the devotees and lordships. And this is all that a real pure Vaishnava does. When a pure Vaishnava does this, it surpasses all these rules and regulations. We come to that stage of attachment and love for the Lord. So all these are actually to bring that a person to bring that to the point of to develop love.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare. Jai. Anything else? Anybody else? Any questions? Any other comments? Nothing to say? No comments? Or everybody is tired because of fasting? Or was it not clear? Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam or
Prabhuji, I have a question. Prabhuji, you mentioned about the deity of Radha Madan Mohan. So in temple, our temple, we have Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. So what's the difference between Madan Mohan form of Krishna and the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna, Prabhuji?
No difference. Actually, it is our acharyas mentioned that there is some deities are there. This is Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami was mentioning that Sri Radha Madan Mohan Ji is known as the Sambandha deities, and Sri Radha Govinda Dev is known as the Abhideya deities, and then the Prayojana deities are called Radha Gopinath deities. So what is actually the attachment like Madan Mohan? If you one worship deity of Radha Madan Mohan, one can easily develop that attachment for Krishna. Then one who worship Govinda Dev, Radha Govinda Devs, and then we can easily, then obstacles in the path of bhakti can be eradicated. That's called also Abhideya, the process, and then we can worship like that. And then Radha Gopinath, that means that's the ultimate. Like the Gopinath means the loving, the gopis, the deities are called Gopinath. That's why he's known as Gopinath. That means ultimate epitome of that, the matured form of prema. That's the deity of Gopinath. That means one who worship, and then gradually one can come to that stage of Gopinath, Radha Gopinath. Then what happens? Then he also come to that stage of pure loving devotion. So Radha Shyam Sundar Ji, Radha Gopinath Ji, all the deities are same level as the, no difference in terms of. But when we worship specifically, when Acharyas mentioned this to us, that when you worship Radha Madan Mohan Ji in the beginning, then one can easily develop that, the sambandha, that relationship with the Lord. Yes, of course, Radha Shyam Sundar Ji also. So that is when we say Radha Shyam Sundar Ji is, again, this is also an ecstatic realization that devotee gets to it. Radha Shyam Sundar Ji means Shyama Sundar. This is also Radha Shyam Sundar Ji always like in a gopis bhav, gopis, how the gopis meditate upon the Supreme Lord. Madan Mohan is actually it's like a Madan Mohan. That means he attracts even Radha Ranis, even he attracts to the cupids. Madana Mohan, Mohana Mohan, Madana Mohana Mohini, right? Krishna, Radha Rani is known as Madana Mohana Mohini. So he attracts everyone. So there is no difference, but specifically certain forms, like you just for example, people worship that, there's a when people does not have a children, what do? They worship the Bala Gopal form of the deity or Laddu Gopal like that. So then, then they worship and it says that they would attain the children likes that. So similarly, when we worship Radha Madan Mohan, that means he is cupid, he is very attractive, he is very much attracted to the devotees. So he is so attracted. So immediately he attracted. This certain functions of the Lord or certain bhavas of the Lord likes that. So like that, when we worship like Radha Ramanji or certain function like, they go and worship, certain deities of the Lord. So they get certain kinds of benefits accordingly. But there is no difference between Radha Shyam Sundarji or Radha Gopinathji or Radha, Madan Mohanji. All are same. But again, right, the mood, right, mood of the deity. So that also we can absorb. So then mood of the deity of Radha Madan Mohan give so much of, like they can attract. So the devotee can so much easily attract to Krishna because of his beauty and so many things. So this is certain bhavas of even deities have that certain bhavas, like, with each devotees. So that's what it's all about. That's what is Acharyas. Sri Rupa Goswami also mentioned that, one should worship Radha Madan Mohan in order to get that sambandha more stronger. Then in order to eradicate obstacles in the path, we should, then can come to worship the Govinda Dev. It's not that, if you have deities at the home, okay, now we should drop everything. Okay, so Acharya said that, okay, worship Radha Madan Mohan. No, it's not necessarily like that. But we should have that thoughts that we can see, even if we have deities at the home, we can see him as Radha Madan Mohan. We can see him as Radha Govinda Dev. We can see him as Radha Gopinath. We can see him as Radha Shyamasundar. All are same. There's no difference between it, right? Because of it's a certain bhava of the Lord. So we can see when we get matured, we can see all this in the deities also. So yeah, so there's no difference between Radha Madan Mohan or Radha Shyam Sundar. Same deity, but we pray in such a way that please give me your love, please make me too. So when we say that, Acharyas compile the poems and all, when we wanted attachment for Krishna, okay, we pray to Radha Madan. This is just for an example, Lord Narasimhadev, Lord Narasimhadev Krishna also. But in order to remove the obstacles in the path of bhakti, we worship Narasimhadev. But who is Narasimhadev? The Lord's expansion, Lord Himself. So likes that. Okay. Is it okay? Is it clear or?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
No. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare Krishna.
Pranams.
Hare
All glories to Srila
Prabhudas,
Prabhupada.
all good Shri.
I have a question related to, one's attraction to a particular deity. Is that based on the devotee's own mood, or is it based on the deity wanting to be attractive to that particular devotee? Because I could say for myself, there's certain deities that I'm more attracted to than others. Is that my personal feeling towards the deities or the deities feeling towards me?
Our personal mood towards the deity. Ye damam prabodhyante mamstadeva bhajamiham mama martavanu vartande manushya pata sarvashah. I reward them accordingly how they approach me. So the desire, the mood that we have, some develops. Yes, of course, that that's the free will that we can. So we develop that love for Krishna. Some we develop like somebody want to see Krishna as a friend. Like for an example of this Mataji, was old Mataji wanted to serve Krishna as her son. Krishna, then come as their son. Mother Ashoda wanted to come. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, as Ashoda's son. Krishna came as son and then came back to the mother Devaki. And Krishna fulfilled all these desires, that how we wanted Krishna to be there. when we have such a friendly relationship, then Krishna would manifest accordingly. Krishna wanted to become parental relationship, right? Like Vasudeva and Devaki or Yashoda. Krishna comes like that. You have such a loving relationship with Krishna, then Krishna would come like that. So then we develop like Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Gopinath. These are all one can develop the loving relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Lord, as we feel that okay, I'm eternal part of Krishna, or I'm like that. So it's all ecstatic, it's bhav, right? We come to that stage of bhav, that the mood or the bhav that I should worship that Lord in such a way that Lord is mine, Lord is myself, I should serve lordships. But actually, our acharyas mentioned that, especially in this con, that we should not come to that level of it. Oh, I'm on the bhava stage, I'm on the prema stage, so okay, so I can think Lord this way, I can think Lord that way. But we should have that humble mood of dasya. That's why in the acharyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, dasa dasa anudas, gopi bhartra kama pada kamalayor dasa das. So that we, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Acharyas, mentioned that we should always serve in the Dasya mode or Bhava of Dasya, I mean eternal servants of not only directly to serve Krishna, but eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the devotees of the Krishna. So that's our mode. So yes, Lord reciprocate accordingly no matter what. So Lord, if you are the conjugal lover, okay, there are so many like just for an example, Mirabai, right? Mirabai, Mirabai. Mirabai was worshipping lordships in a conjugal lover that Lord is my lover, Lord is my beloved. And then actually, then Mirabai became like that, and Lord reciprocated accordingly. There are so many devotees are out there, and they are all see the Lord in a certain mood and bhav, but not we are, because we are not up to that level of. So we have so much of impurity, so much of things. We cannot come to that stage of that. Okay, Lord is my lover. Okay, Lord, come next day onwards. Lord should reciprocate. No, we are not, because of we are not qualified to that level. So that's why when we became Dasya, so then Lord reciprocate accordingly, seeing our sincere devotion. Lord will then later actually take us to that stage of, yes, this devotee is so sincere. I mean, anyway, in the devotional service, even if we serve Dasya, all the other rasas are involved there. Like just for an example, a wife serve as her husband as like a menial servant, like serves very nicely, very clearly. At the same time, that wife has that loving nature towards the husband, loving relationship towards the husband. And this wife also has loving relationship with the children, that also the part of the husband. So everything is there. It's not that, just when in the spiritual realm, when we serve the lordships in such a mood that one is diminishing other. No, this love is when we serve the lordship, there is also loving relationship. When we serve the Lord, there is a, all these different rasas are also part of there. So it is that our Acharya has mentioned to us that the better that we should be on a dasya mode, dasya bhav. Then when we dasya bhav, when we sincerely serve, then we all can become we can come to our real identity. So we are all have real identity, our spiritual form or our spiritual identity we all have, right? Everybody has spiritual identity. Like just for an example, there was a devotee called Dukhi Krishnadas. Dukhi Krishnadas was in Orissa, and Dukhi Krishnadas was so nicely serving the lordships. So one day Dukhi Krishnas came to an acharya, spiritual master. Spiritual master ordered, your duty is to just serve and water the garden of this Lord's, garden is there. So Dukhi Krishnadas was just literally took the that service as a as a servant, as a literal menial servant. Every day bring the water to the tulasi on the garden. Every day without fail. And in putting that, that pot on the head of the Dukhi Krishnadas, it created a wound on the head, and it started to ooze out the worms out of it, and it's become so still. Dukhi Krishnadas didn't stop to bringing the water on the top. So one day spiritual master saw this. Spiritual master melted with this service attitude of this his disciple. And the spiritual master said, "You are not belongs to be here. You should go to Vrindavan. So there, you should go there and meet Jiva Goswami." Then this Dukhi Krishnadas came there in Vrindavan and met with the Jiva Goswami. Then Jiva Goswami assigned a service to this Dukhi Krishnadas. And then the spiritual master said that you are not anymore Dukhi Krishnadas. Then this Dukhi Krishnadas came there and Jiva Goswami assigned a service to Dukhi Krishnadas that you should go to the groves of Vrindavan and especially in the Nidhivan, and there you clean the place clean that place every day. And this Dukhi Krishnadas again took this service literally that every day morning, that early morning, the dawn, going there and cleaning the place so nicely that Jiva Goswami said that Lord comes and their pastimes are there in the Nidhivan. After their pastimes, everything will be disarrayed. You go and clean these places so nicely. Dukhi Krishnadas was so nicely serving this taking this service. So then what happened? One day, then Dukhi Krishnadas saw a pile, anklet, a very golden jeweled anklet into this Nidhivan. And then Dukhi Krishnadas took it and touched upon it and realized that this is not a mundane, ordinary pile or this anklet. So this is the time that Srimati Lalita Sagi realized that Radharani told Lalita Sagi that my anklet is missing. And when we had these pastimes in the Nidhivan, I dropped somewhere and can you go and find out? So then Lalita Sagi came and saw that Dukhi Krishnadas is holding this pile, this anklet. Lalita Sagi then transformed to an old lady and came to Dukhi Krishnadas and told that, okay, Dukhi Krishnadas, I'm coming from nearby village. My daughter-in-law lost anklet and, did you see it? Can I get it? So Dukhi Krishnadas then realized that this is also not an ordinary person. So by the menial service to the lordships and everything can be clear. So then Dukhi Krishnadas now realized that this is not an ordinary. Then Dukhi Krishnadas told to this old lady, yes, if your daughter-in-law comes, and I will hand over this to, your daughter-in-law. So Dukhi Krishnadas now wanted to see that, wanted to see. So then there is no way that Lalita Sagi went back to Srimati Radharani, and Srimati Radharani came down. And as soon as Srimati Radharani came down and gave darshan to Dukhi Krishnadas, and that Dukhi Krishnadas became later, of course, Shyamananda Pandit. The Shyamananda Pandit, that Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamananda Pandit, and, likes that. So then what happened? The Dukhi Krishnadas now saw Radharani, then Radharani now took Dukhi Krishnadas to the Goloka Vrindavan spiritual abode. And who is this Dukhi Krishnadas? Dukhi Krishnadas was, his original identity was Kanaka Manjari. There's a Manjari in the spiritual abode. And Dukhi Krishna, in order to come back to the spiritual abode in Goloka Vrindavan, Radharani said that, come down to a lake, like a pond there, you just, dip there, then you will get your original form. And then Dukhi Krishnadas got his original form, that was a Kanaka Manjari. Kanaka Manjari went back to the abode of the Srimati Radharani. It's a beautiful palace, is mentioned there. Then saw everything, and there is a beautiful conversation. And now Radharani mentioned that your time came and go back to the earthly planet. And Dukhi Krishna said that, and Radharani mentioned that you are not anymore Dukhi Krishnadas. Radharani put a permanent mark on the forehead of, Dukhi Krishnadas became Shyama Ananda. Then his name became Shyamananda. Then it was a permanent mark, like a tilak, Radharani put it. And then Dukhi Krishnadas mentioned that, now how can I go? I'm already here. Why should I go back? No, you have some certain purpose to do. You have to go back. And then how will I go? So the Radharani then made a deity form of Shyamasundar Krishna from the heart of Radharani and gave it to Dukhi Krishnadas and said that you go and worship this deity and then you will come back after this. So that is the deity in the Vrindavan called Radha Shyamsundar deity. The Radha Shyamsundar deity in Vrindavan is actually the Shyamananda Pandit brought from the spiritual abode itself. It's a Swayambhu deity, spiritual abode, Radharani handed over. So the point I was trying to make is actually is everybody has their spiritual identity. So when we serve Krishna so nicely in such a way that then we will attain that spiritual identity. This is the science that behind. So all we are there is actually to serve sincerely to the lordships, sincerely with our service attitude. Then what will happen? We will all attain our original spiritual identity to the spiritual abode. So yes, this is the desire. Krishna will fulfill those desires. And as per that, it's not that immediately Krishna would fulfill that. Krishna would see that deity in such a way that in such a relationship. Yes, but as we are fallen conditioned soul, our acharyas requested, gave us the name of Das, 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 because we are servants of the devotees of the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank
you. Thank you for this wonderful class. I'm wondering if you could elaborate on if there is a set guideline for home deities. Because I read once that, and I guess that's through ISKCON, because I read once that Srila Prabhupada said if you're close enough to the temples, then you should be worshiping the temple deities, and there's no need to have them in the home. I know our Gurudev says before you get deities, you need to ask my permission. And I've heard that you should have Gaur and Nitai as home deities because they are forgiving.
Yeah.
Whereas Krishna's worship is much more specific.
Yeah.
And I know if you're in the temple, depending on your level of initiation, determines what you are allowed to do as far as the deities. Like first initiated, I could cook in the kitchen, but I could not actually, I could cook and plate the food, but I could not take and offer it to the deities. Yes. So, you go to the puja hut and you can buy any deity that you want. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should have it or that you know how to appropriately care for it. So I just wonder, when you read the Shastra, it makes it so easy to think, I want to run out and buy deities, but that's not necessarily appropriate. I wonder, could you elaborate on that, please? Thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yes. Yes, Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that is every devotee should have deities at home. Is the way that we develop the love for the lordships. I mean, it's not that Srila Prabhupada just mentioned, okay, when it's all based on the context of that when Srila Prabhupada was speaking, to whom Srila Prabhupada was speaking to. Many times that's why that hermeneutics that Srila Prabhupada mentioned certain devotees certain way, certain devotees in another way. And also Srila Prabhupada said that those who are beginning in the Krishna consciousness should have Gauranitai deities rather than directly going to the Radha Krishna deities because of, especially Srila Prabhupada came to Western world, right? Especially those devotees in Shri that didn't have much, ideas about how to worship, how to take care of the deities nicely. So Srila Prabhupada had that context of that, okay, Shri should have the Gauranitai deity, so that Gauranitai is very merciful, even if there are some offenses, is very merciful, and there is no specific rules and regulation that when we worship Gauranitai because of very merciful. But not that like Radha Krishna deities are a little more serious because of when we invite, it's not at also that we are not going to buy deities and just bring and deities and just start to worship. No, it's not like that. So we invite the devotees, or especially like spiritual master. If you have a spiritual master, yes, in order to establish a deity at home, we should seek the mercy and permission from the spiritual master, because of as soon as we surrender to spiritual master, as soon as we take initiation from the spiritual master, we are actually the property, or we are under the guidance of spiritual master. Because of spiritual master is like a doctor, we are like a patient. So the doctor knows that what medicine is needed for this patient. because we cannot claim that we are completely pure, completely that. Spiritual master can easily understand our nature, our mood, our devotion, or at what point of time we can sincerely serve the deities. Sometimes we can make an offense. Sometimes I know that I installed a deity, or not installed, welcomed a deity of one of our Bhakti Vrisham member. It's not initiated or anything, but even that was just covered in a tie. So after some time, what happens? They worshipped initially, then they stopped worshipping. Now they felt that now this deity at home is a burden for them, because sometimes they cannot do anything anymore. Sometimes husband family relationship, something that one is happened, something children. Sometimes distress, sorrows comes, unhappiness comes. Then they family, this Mataji then stopped worshipping the Gavanita deity at their home. Then one day they called me. This is what is happening. I cannot take care of this deity, and can you take it back? Okay, can you take it back? And I went and I took it. And then another devotee was very nicely initiated. They were worshipping and they were looking for Gavanita deity. Then I, mentioned that this is. Then they welcomed the deities. They were worshipping so nicely since then. So this is the difference. So when we are not matured enough, we are not determined enough, we are not dedicated enough, then we get the deities at the home. When some point of time when things happen, things goes wrong, things, it's a human life. We stop worshipping, and then that's a neglect, that's an offense. When we start to worship the deity, then that's why our dedication, our commitment, our vow to the deity that I would worship you every day. That's where you can come. So you should be. That's where we are welcoming the lordships. That please come so that I would serve you, I would worship you. Then once the Lord comes, like when we have guest at the home, we invite the guest at the home. Guest came, and guests have okay, have some seat, and we don't take care of the guest. We don't even look at the guest. We don't even offer anything to the guest. How the guest feel? How the visitor or guest feel? Very neglected. So similarly, Lord is person. So when we start to neglect, that's an offense. That's I mean, Lord doesn't take care of much, but that is not the right way to. Then we don't make any progress, and we make some way or other we can fall down, or we make the offense. So spiritual master can understand that the mood of the devotee, the worship, the determination, dedication. So also it is an etiquette. It's a right way of that. If when once we are having spiritual master, we go. Our devotion must be as per the direction, guidance of the spiritual master. Because of then spiritual master also have develop. We also develop a relationship with the spiritual master. We should not do anything whimsically. We should seek permission from spiritual master, and then then spiritual master will guide us and shower mercy upon us, because of Esya Prasada Bhagavad Prasada Eksya Prasado Nagati Kudobi. That means Dhyayam Stuvam Sasya Dadat Yasastra Sandhya Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. We see Guru as Guru is pleased, then Krishna is pleased. Guru is not pleased, Krishna is not pleased. Suppose we surpass or we overcome the Guru. Okay, I don't need to ask Guru, but Guru is not pleased, because of now we are related with the Guru. Guru is my father. My Guru is spiritual master is considered as our spiritual father. Is our. That's why initiation means our next, our spiritual birth. So Guru is considered as our father. So we should not never neglect or disobey. That's why it's an offense, right? Disobey the orders of spiritual master. So this is an etiquette, and this is a right way to that. If you are planning to have deities at the home, we first seek permission, and from the spiritual master never say no to that, because the listener will be so happy. But at the same time, it is our duty. It is our way that we are dependent upon spiritual master. So we are completely dependent upon spiritual master's mercy. So we seek mercy from spiritual master is also is great beneficiary. So we should do that. Then when we worship like Radha Shyam Sundar or Radha Krishna deities, that the deity worship is little more, because of very, it should be a little more serious, that in the sense that when the Lord is there, Lord Krishna is there, then Lord is there and Lord is hungry. Lord is hungry that we should offer to the lordships. that whatever the capacity we have, but whatever we have, even Krishna says, Patram Pushpambalam, we should, our gesture, our mood should be there to serve. Even if we don't have anything, we should have even offer water. Even we should worship deity in our mind when nothing is there. That's serious. But that should not, we should not neglect the lordships when we invite the lordships, Radha Shyamsundar or Radha Krishna deities at the home. That's why initially, when Srila Prabhupada in the Western world, like devotees who are not familiar with what to do, then they started, Srila Prabhupada said, mentioned that, okay, start with the Gauranitai. Then eventually, then you are mature, then you are come to know that we develop the love for the Lord, then you can install the Radha Shyamsundar, Radha Krishna deities at your home. So this way, then you develop such a love for the Lord. It's not that, okay, we are beginners, okay, only Gauranitai deities are there. But it's good enough. Of course, one can liberate, notably so. But Gauranitai will direct us to have, okay, now, okay, how the Radha Shyamsundar at the home and worship the deities, Radha Shyamsundar. So, yeah, this way, the Lord will also shower mercy upon us. That when your sincere devotion sees it, devotees are placed, spiritual master is placed, then we are also sincere to serve deities and ready to serve, and the Lord will also manifest and come to us. And then we started to worship such a way that when I installed in Welcome Our Deity, that we took a vow that every day, and then, priest would say that, we should take a vow that whatever the capacity you have, at least one time that we would offer the bhoga to the lordships, at least one time every day. So like that, we can take and some vow like that. So more is good, but at least one time that we should worship the Lord when we have the deities at the home, we should take that. So yes, this way, we are all on the same devotional, not like whimsical or from our pride or, my neighbor has, my friend has deity, so I have deity. So I should go to the, somewhere. So nowadays there is a habit, people go and buy Govardhan Shila, people go and buy Shalagram Shila, things like that. It's not that we can buy or anything. It's not right. So we should have mercy of the Lord. We should have mercy of spiritual master. If we are doing that, we should seek permission and spiritual master will guide us, and then we'll have installed. When I welcome my deities years back, my spiritual master was here. Spiritual master saw that, spiritual master guided me, and then spiritual master is welcome the deity even at the home. And whenever, that's why when you have deities at the home, you are planning to install, welcome, we should inform spiritual master that as per the guides, convenience of spiritual master, we should spiritual master to install the deities, and so like that. So okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for such a wonderful realization. Good question. Okay, anything else? Anybody else? Any other questions, concerns, comments? Okay. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a very happy Ekadashi, and continue. And the fast breaking time tomorrow is 7 o'clock to 10:27 a.m. Okay, please note that 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. to 10:27 a.m. So you can please break that fast and continue chanting, continue remembrance of the Lord. And almost hour and a half, we have some nice discussions, thoughts of the lordships and what to do in our life. And please take up this, wonderful sections of Srila Goswami telling us what to do. Take up in our life, in our heart, and continue that Krishna is in our heart. So Krishna will come to our heart. Krishna will be in our heart. He is in our center of our life. That's what it is we need to become. So thank you so much. Let's conclude today's class. Let's pray together. Vancha kalpatarupasya कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वैष्णव वृंद की जय। कंदराज भक्तिरसामत की जय। रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Gaudi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari.
Thank you, Simheshwar Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Hare
Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.